showed up in Galveston, Texas to meet 2,000 troops, many of whom were black. The purpose for coming to Galveston was that the state of Texas, a stronghold of the Confederacy, did not yield to the January 1st, 1863 Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln. It also refused to yield to General Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox on April the 9th of 1865. So Texas continued to keep enslaved Africans. And so General Granger showed up with many of our ancestors belonging to the United States Colored Troops of Maryland and other states. And they showed up not to inform black people that they were free. Our people already knew that. But they showed up to forcibly liberate those Africans in Texas who had not yet been freed. Juneteenth is not about a communication of emancipation. Juneteenth is about a standoff between black soldiers and a white power structure who refused to liberate 250,000 of our ancestors. The reason I'm saying this, we gotta quiet down back here.
Boom. I'm here.
The reason I'm saying this is because don't pay the Coon no mind. Coon's come in all colors. But listen, brothers and sisters, we have to make sure we control the narrative regarding Juneteenth. Black people cannot allow the United States government and President Joe Biden to co-opt a holiday that we started. We cannot allow the United States government to exploit a holiday that we started. Brothers and sisters, as African people, we suffer from a white savior complex. Most of our great accomplishments are often spoiled by a narrative that suggests we would not have made it or achieved it had there not been the participation of a benevolent white man. We're told that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Well, when you look at the Civil War, and when you look at the fact that the Confederacy was beating the Union, and Abraham Lincoln was left with no choice but to let black men join the Civil War. And when you understand that it was our ancestors, more than 210,000, who fought in the Civil War, you come to the conclusion that Abraham Lincoln did not free the black man. The black man freed Abraham Lincoln. It is important that you understand this. We are the reason that America is still America. We are the reason for the Union victory against the Confederacy. Abraham Lincoln did nothing for black people except get out the way and let us save his ass. Brothers and sisters, Juneteenth is not about General Granger. Juneteenth is about the black soldiers who showed up and were willing to die and give their life had not Texas liberated its 250,000 enslaved Africans. Juneteenth is our narrative. Now, I don't have a problem with President Biden deciding to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. Our ancestors are owed at least that much. But I have to deal with the hypocrisy of the motion, though. Because on the first day of office, President Biden signed an executive order on the first day of office to protect the life and opportunities of members of the rainbow community. And I'm not against that. And then most recently, he signed an executive order establishing a White House initiative for Asians, Pacific Islanders, and Native Hawaiians. And I'm not against that either. But if you can sign an executive order for the LGBTQ, and if you can sign an executive order to protect the life and right of the Asian American, why in the hell didn't we get the same thing as black people? Where's the executive order for our children? Where's the executive order for our opportunities? Where's the executive orders for our justice? I don't have a problem with Juneteenth being acknowledged by the government. But I have a problem with the fact that black people have to settle for a holiday, but Asians got rights and opportunities. I have a problem with the fact that black people have to settle for a holiday, but the LGBTQ got rights and opportunities. My issue with this President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris is that if you care about black life that much, you've been in office for 6 months, what have you done about the miseducation of black children in Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, California? What are you doing about the gentrification of black people that is at an all-time high? Even right here in Atlanta, where rich whites are pushing poor blacks out of their home, giving birth to a black homeless rate that is at its highest rate in the past 20 years. If you care about black life, why aren't you doing anything about the mass incarceration laws that are not only putting black men behind bars and destroying the black family, but also putting black mothers behind bars? And when you lock up a black woman, you scatter her children. When you lock up a black woman, you take a mother away from her babies. When you lock up a black woman, you destroy the black family. If you care about us, don't give a holiday for the ancestors. Give a law, give a bill, give some resources for those of us living right now. If you really care about what happened on Juneteenth, if America really wants to pay homage to the Africans who built this country, and I want to be clear, no disrespect to LGBTQ, you didn't build America the first 200 years. Black people did. No disrespect to the Asians, you didn't build America the first 200 years. Black people laid the foundations. Black people made the bricks. Black people built the railroads. Black people picked the cotton. Black people carried the sugar. No disrespect to the Arab, the East Indian, the Latino, or the Mexican. You did not lay the foundation for this. So when you talk about multiculturalism, you can leave black people out of it, because we have nothing in common with nobody else's culture, because everybody came to America as an immigrant, but we came to America as imports. Brothers and sisters, we didn't come to America as participants, we came to America as property. General Granger, in his order, said that there should be immediate equality for black people. That was 156 years ago. Where is the immediate equality right now? Brothers and sisters, I believe that Juneteenth becoming the 11th federal holiday of America may have its upside, but it also has its downside. Because when I look at what the government did to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday when that became a federal holiday in 1983. And I look at what the federal government did when it made Black History Month unofficially observed federal activity, and look what they did to Black History Month. And I look at what they did to Kwanzaa and acknowledging Kwanzaa and having Kwanzaa at the White House. Look at Kwanzaa now. The point that I'm making is whenever the power structure decides to pay attention to a black founded holiday, they begin to change the focus of that holiday over time. Dr. King's birthday is about acknowledging a black man who gave his life for the equality of African people. Dr. King, who was on the verge of economic revolution until the CIA and the FBI and the Memphis, Tennessee Police Department plotted his assassination. But Dr. King did more than have a dream. And we reduced his legacy to a dream. Dr. King didn't die for integration. Dr. King died for economic revolution. Dr. King was on his way to D.C., so they had to kill him on April 4th, 1968, because Dr. King was going to D.C. to start a protest of poor white, poor black, poor everybody who was not going to leave D.C. until they left with a job and a home. It would have embarrassed the United States government, and so Dr. King had to die on April the 4th. He could not be allowed to go to D.C. But here we are 30 years after the government has made a Dr. King holiday, and they reduced Dr. King's memory to community service. Dr. King's memory is about picking up the garbage off the streets. Dr. King's memory is about painting the buildings. That's not what Dr. King struggled for. That's not what he died for. He died for the equality of black people. Let's get focused back on why he died. You see McDonald's exploiting Kwanzaa. You see Burger King exploiting Kwanzaa. You see all these corporations exploiting Kwanzaa, exploiting Black History Month. If we are not careful, they will exploit Juneteenth. They will make billions of dollars off of Juneteenth. By the government opening it up, they can commercialize Juneteenth. Let us make sure they do not do that. Let us make sure that does not happen. Brothers and sisters, let us remember forever that Juneteenth is our holiday. It is our creation. It is our memorial to our ancestors. If the government wants to honor it, so be it. But we cannot collaborate with the U.S. government involving Juneteenth. Because if you do, it will cease to be a black revolutionary holiday, and it will become another useless holiday where corporations exploit it to make billions of dollars.